Hey everybody, it's Bear. Shalom from Canada, eh? Toddlers must be toddling. You'd be right, Judy Rogers. You know that's what toddlers do. They're out there toddling. Hey, it's the Mad Celt and the Crazy Canuck. Okay, all right. Man, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Huge shout out to Paula Joe Davis, but also to the Okie Storm Chaser who delivered unto me a growler of Royal Bavaria Hefeweizen from Moore, Oklahoma. This stuff ain't no joke, y'all. So, thank you, Okie. And an honorary sip for y'all out of the steel pint glass. Slave dog, shalom. Pinky up, pinky up. Oh, Fortner's Frontier Leather. Hey man, got a review coming for you. Thank you, brother. I need a storm chaser. I know a guy. All right, we are going to get into the bear brief. Thank you everybody for being here. You are legit tremendous. Believe me, everybody tells me. For real though, thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you girls for being here. It's a blessing, it's a blessing. I appreciate y'all very much. If you're new here, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things, you know, for really reals. I would really appreciate it if you would. It helps us in the algorithm, so... Is this public or unlisted?
I got a notification.
On which? On which?
On YouTube.
Okay, good. All right then. Good. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share. That helps us in the algorithm. It helps us do all the things. YouTube doesn't like us because we have guns on our hip and we read the Bible and we talk about preparedness. So the more you help us, the more that helps our algorithm. Please consider coming to see us on Patreon. The entirety of this report is available on Patreon. I know you guys don't necessarily like hearing about Patreon. Well, tough nugs, bruh. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't for Patreon. I don't think you guys understand how oppressive creating content for YouTube can be when they don't like you. And so we continue to do this at our cost on YouTube because of our patrons. So thank you, patrons. Y'all rock. Y'all rock. If you need some BA Pyrenees puppies, holler at me. November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf at gmail.com. November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf gmail.com. Pyrenees puppies, Northwest Arkansas. They're the best. They're tremendous. These dogs, they eat all the bad people. Believe me, these dogs could jump over a wall from here clear to Mexico. In fact, we're gonna send them to China to eat all of the coronavirus. They're the best. The best. If we had these dogs working in New York City, we wouldn't have the problem with the virus that we have. They're tremendous. And actually a really big thank you. You guys and girls have been killing it at the Bear Independent web store. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I'm not shy about this. I count it a blessing. There are 9 families that are eating off of Bear Independent in some capacity right now. So every little bit helps. And I'm unashamed to ask you to consider, if you got to buy some prepper things, to look at the web store, because we got some prepper things. And if you don't, no problem. If you don't want to be on Patreon, no problem. We do this YouTube thing for free. So bless y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Let us be cereal. Actually, first let's drink some liquid cereal. This stuff is freaking awesome.
I think my margarita's freaking awesome.
Your margarita's freaking awesome? My wife thinks her margarita's freaking awesome. This apocalypse isn't all it's been cracked up to be. I've seen 0 zombies. Nobody has assaulted us. Now, I will not tempt the Lord my God. I'm just saying, like, if this is the apocalypse, cheers, y'all. Now, Bear Independent Intel Report, 2 April 2020. Thank you to all the dance monkeys at the Intel staff at bearindependent.com. If you have some intel you would like to share, intel@bearindependent.com, intel@bearindependent.com, intel@bearindependent.com. Not ntxmag at Gmail, intel@bearindependent.com. And if you want to send the Dance Monkeys a thank you, you should email them at intel@bearindependent.com. Be like, hey, good job, Dance Monkeys. Y'all rock. Keep dancing. Y'all are the best. And I'm a white guy, so this is the only dance move that I have. But I'm going to rock it till the cows come home. All right. On the presidential daily brief today, this guy keeps copying me. He's doing a press conference every day. I'm like, bro, be original. Why? Why you got to try and steal my thunder? One of the, man, I can't remember her name, the lady doc. Basically, I'm going to paraphrase her statement because I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said people, to the effect of, she said people need to follow the guidelines to flatten the curve. If they won't follow the guidelines, we will have to take further action because our logarithmic calculations are showing that people are not self-quarantining. Well, first of all, technical term, no duh. But second of all, I don't really enjoy the threat of further action during a presidential press brief. I don't like that. So, as stated yesterday, I don't want the government to be tyrannical. What I do want is people to act like grown-ups and take personal responsibility. If you're sick, stay home. I'm being texted by somebody right now. How dare they? How dare you? If you're sick, stay home. Don't go out into public. Stay home. Don't be around sick people. This is, I mean, like we teach this to third graders and they got it figured out. Wash your hands. Don't stick your hand in your face. Don't lick people. Do this with the rubby alcohol-y stuff. What do they call that? Hand sanitizer? Okay. I feel like we're both adults here. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but okay, good. Now, getting into the overview. The number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the U.S. continues to climb. As of the time of this reporting, the official numbers are as follows. Global cases have surpassed 1 million. 1,009,452. Global deaths are at 52,853. Global recoveries, 211,800. U.S. cases. I'm now being texted by the person I just yelled at on camera. Don't worry, we love you. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Smiley face is back at you. U.S. cases, 240,395. Repeat, 240,395. We are pushing 250,000 cases. U.S. deaths, 5,808. U.S. recoveries, 10,365. So far, the recovery rate is approximately 80%. More than 1,000 people in the U.S. died of coronavirus yesterday. Repeat, more than 1,000 people in the U.S. died of coronavirus yesterday. Hey, text me one more time. Can I even say your name? Just say I have a really good friend who's really good at the money stuff who's texting me right now. And they're like, hey, your prepper classroom video about financing was a little passive aggressive. And I'm like, I'm kind of rough around the edges. But anyway, thank you, friend. The total a week before was less than 1,300. So again, to make this point, yesterday, 1,000 people died of coronavirus. The entirety of the week before was 1,300. As we at Bear Independent keep tabs on the numbers globally and in the U.S., the numbers continue to climb exponentially. It has been reported that labs are only testing about 100,000 people daily for the virus, and the supply of critical lab materials to perform the test is stretched thin. In New York, hospitals are chaotic, and some of the city morgues are already filled to capacity. Last week, more than 6.6 million in the U.S. filed for unemployment benefits. Previously, we reported the record of 3.3 million jobless claims in a week. We're now at twice that. And prior to that 3.3 million, I believe the record was 620,000 in a week. So we're now more than 10 times the previous record in a week. I heard a stat recently within the last couple of days, and I think it came from the president, that they expect the possibility of 32% unemployment by June. To be clear, the Great Depression was a 25% unemployment rate. 1 in 4 people was out of work. We're now looking at 1 in 3 people out of work, potentially by June. I've been saying for a couple of months now that the biggest threat to this coronavirus is the economic impact. As long as you don't catch the said virus. Even then, I'm pretty sure I've had it. In fact, when I say I'm pretty sure, I've prayed over whether or not I've had it, and I've been affirmed by the Father, yeah, you had it, kid. Roger that. I have a lot of people that are near and dear to me that I believe have had it as well. It is the sickest I've ever been. I had a 105 fever, 105.3 actually, and my pulse oximeter went from a 98 reading to an 84 reading like that. I can't snap because I got a hole in my thumb because we've been working today. There we go. I was sick, hallucinatory sick, shaking so violently that I could not stop without speaking the name of my Creator, sick. Shaking so bad that I couldn't walk from the bed to the bathroom, shaking so bad that I couldn't put my socks on because I didn't have the coordination to get the damn sock on my foot. That's how sick I was. And a lot of other people were just as sick before and after me having that sickness as well. So I totally understand why somebody who's 60, 70, 80 years old shouldn't get this virus, because it's the sickest I've ever been. I felt like I was dying. I think it's entirely possible that somebody could die from this, and a lot of people are dying from this, especially if you're immunocompromised. If you find yourself in one of those categories, you need to just be a freaking responsible adult and stay home. Stay away from sick people. I really believe a lot of us in the preparedness community took this thing pretty lightly at first. Myself included, honestly, as far as the physical ramifications, the medical ramifications of this. Just didn't seem all that bad. But now the economic ramifications of this are going to be life-changing, I believe. Have the potential to be change the trajectory of a country. The Defense Logistics Agency is currently, quote, is currently responding to FEMA's prudent planning efforts for 100,000 pouches to address mortuary contingencies on behalf of state health agencies, end quote. Pentagon spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Mike Andrews said Thursday. Hashtag body bag. If you've been here a while, you would know what I'm talking about. Hashtag body bag. 100,000 pouches are 100,000 body bags to stick bodies in. Again, U.S. cases 240,000, U.S. deaths 5,808. And FEMA's prudent planning for 100,000 body bags. CNN reported, quote, a prestigious scientific panel told the White House Wednesday night that research shows coronavirus can be spread not just by sneezes or coughs, but also just by talking or possibly even just breathing, end quote. A train engineer at the Port of Los Angeles was arrested this morning on federal charges for allegedly running a locomotive at full speed off the end of rail tracks near the USNS Mercy. No damage to the ship was reported. The engineer claimed that he believed the ship was part of a government takeover. A little less tinfoil, bro. You might be right, but a little less tinfoil. Just a little tiny bit. No micro dosing with psilocybin, none of that. Just Man, level-headed, clear, logical. Why would the hospital ship be part of the takeover? You don't get it, Bear. The reptilian overlord. I got it. Right. Copy that. Copy. Drive your train out into the ocean. Good idea. This is disgusting. The Dairy Farmers of America reached out to more than 100 of Wisconsin's largest dairy producers this week, asking them to dump their milk until at least the 6th of April due to the closures of some of the largest consumers of dairy products like schools and restaurants. One viewer's farmer contact says he has dumped 250,000 pounds of milk and counting in the last 24 hours. We have these pics on Patreon. Again, the entirety of this report is on Patreon, including pics of dairy tankers with milk just blowing out the tail end of them. There's got to be something better we can do than just dumping it out on the ground, y'all.
Right? Send it here.
Yeah, send it here. At the very, use it for fertilizer at the very least. Geez, do something with it other than just blow it out on the ground for the next 4 days. 2 or more eyewitness accounts. Continuity of infrastructure and supply chain. Many big box retailers are prohibiting sale of non-essential items like furniture, clothing, etc. In a recent report out of Vermont, seeds are apparently also non-essential. You don't need to plant a garden. Don't worry. It's fine. I can't even tell you to go to the web store at bearindependent.com to get seeds right now because they sell out incredibly fast. We sold 20 packets of seeds in 18 minutes yesterday. And that's all we have until we get more in. Seeds are becoming a rarity around the country right now. I will tell you this. I have planted pinto beans that I bought at the store in a bag, planted them in the ground, and got a yield of a minimum of 10 to 1. That works, or at least it worked for me with my soil conditions, my sunlight, my rain, so forth, so on. That has worked for me. You can also plant feed corn. I've done it. Germination isn't going to be as good as seed corn, but overplant. If you're supposed to typically seed 33 pounds per acre for seed corn, seed 60 pounds per acre for feed corn. Just because you can still get that $7 for a 40-pound bag. You can do that. You can take regular potatoes from the store, cut the eyes out of them, and plant those as seed potatoes. There are ways to do this aside from just getting seeds at the store, but seeds are becoming a hard commodity to get. Hell, potatoes are becoming a hard commodity to get. Feed corn is still in our area. You can still get it. Pinto beans, we've got literal tons of, so we can plant, germinate them, so forth and so on. But you might give that a shot as well, especially if you're in an area where you can row crop or plant significant areas of agriculture, which, by the way, corn is not the type of thing you can just put down a small amount of. The more corn you put down, the better your germination rates are going to be because corn is pollinated by the wind. And so the more of it you have, the more that wind blows through and all the pollen hits those little silks and you're good. So you need to reach a critical mass of corn. But I digress. Repeating, essential business personnel, travel permission letters, placards, etc. are being issued nationwide to continue critical infrastructure operations and supply. We are now starting to receive some from Arkansas, which currently has no official orders in place. That means they're coming. Legal and political. 38 states have essential services only travel restrictions, stay-at-home orders, shelter-in-place orders, or similar official proclamations. 7 states have certain areas under restrictions. 5 states remain with no official orders, merely advisories. A full updated map of the United States' varying levels of restrictions can be seen on the New York Times website, and the URL lives at Patreon. Otherwise, you could just simply go to the New York Times, puke a little bit in your mouth, and then follow that link, I guess. Montana has suspended incoming corrections transfers. I don't know what to think about what Montana is doing. They're like, nobody pays any rent, nobody gets foreclosed, but also no new prisoners, and hey, we need federal help. And I feel subjectively, from the outside looking in, it seems a little scramble-ish, but who am I to judge? I've spent next to no time in Montana, so I don't know. It feels a little scrambly. That's a word, right? It's a word. Your legs look great, lady.
They ashy.
They ashy?
I need me some cocoa butter.
Rub some cocoa butter on it. Not on the internet, though. That's a different kind of video. I love my wife. You're wonderful. You're welcome. Thank you. Kansas is using a platform called Unicast, which compares anonymized GPS data from before and after the implementation of social distancing measures to track the measure's effectiveness and offer county-level grades. South Korean authorities accessed security camera footage, credit card records, GPS data from cell phones and car navigation systems to track those that were infected. The Massachusetts governor and others have closed gun ranges and gun stores by deeming them non-essential, even though apparently we've had a federal order on this. But, you know, when you're in Massachusetts, it's hard to listen to what the president has to say because what a shame. What a shame. I'm thinking of Framingham, Massachusetts now. What's that, the Allagash? You get out in western Massachusetts, it butts up to upstate New York. Beautiful country. Good people out there. There's a huge swamp full of moose. I think it's the Allagash. Anyway. I'm just thinking, like, what a place to begin the birth of a country, to birth a revolution, and now it's like, yeah, we're all a bunch of... Boy, I can't say any of the words that I want to say. We'll just say we've been wussified. How's that for an answer? Other states, such as Texas, have explicitly noted the lack of legal support for such a move. Good work, Texas. New Jersey, police in Newark, Orange, East Orange, and Irvington will stop drivers to ask where they are going. Laredo, Texas is ordering anyone in buildings outside of their homes to wear a mask or some type of face covering. If they don't, they may face a fine of up to $1,000. Great job, Laredo. How about we stop the abduction of 2 to 4 American citizens per day being handled by the cartels, people coming across the border and stealing equipment, materiel, money, people. That's a good idea, Laredo, Texas. I'm just saying. It's not like I've ever been there or done anything in Laredo before. But it might be a good idea to focus on that as well. But, hey, you know, wear a mask inside the building. Good idea, Laredo. Several places have enacted curfews, such as Flint, Michigan, and Tahlequah, Oklahoma, which BT dubs is becoming like a hotbed of just ridiculousness in COVID-19 in the state of Oklahoma. Just for real. Tahlequah, get your S together. And a few places, such as Marion County, Alabama, have established 24-hour curfews that are essentially the same as stay-at-home orders, allowing necessary travel only. The First Nations people, the Crow tribe, has barred any recreational travel into the reservation. The Navajo Nation has told its people to stay at home as much as possible and has enacted a curfew. In Oregon, violations of the stay-at-home order can be punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a $1,250 fine. In Maryland, it could be 1 year in jail and or a $5,000 fine. As discussed yesterday, in Alaska, the classification of the misdemeanor means it is possible for a person failing to follow the mandates that they could be criminally prosecuted for reckless endangerment and subject to up to a $25,000 fine. Repeat. If you were actually brought up on any of these charges, I would look the judge in the eye, unless it's like tele-judging. Are we doing that now as well? And say, so aren't you violating the same statutes and limitations that were put in place that I've been found guilty of? I'm just saying, because if you want to call it even, I'll pay 25K, you pay 25K, or neither one of us will pay 25K. We'll just call it good. That's what I would do. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on YouTube. But I've watched some CSI, watched some Law and Order. I got all of my medical knowledge from Grey's Anatomy, so it's pretty good. Everything I know about construction I got from Homes on Homes on the DIY channel. It's a good job. It's the best. Tremendous. I also like that Maine Cabins. What's that channel? What's that show called? Maine Cabin Masters. Mainers. Yeah. It's an alright show, I guess. If you're going to be stuck at home with nothing to do, although we've done a hell of a lot today. But I digress. Several places, Montana, Rhode Island, etc., have now enacted a 14-day self-quarantine for non-commercial travelers or travelers from highly affected states. Military. Many states have activated their National Guards to assist with the current medical needs. Again, weapons and ammunition are not being issued. Repeat, to the best of our knowledge, weapons and ammunition are not being issued to the National Guard. They are simply there to assist. They're not carrying weapons. Okay? Okay. The moment that changes and we become aware of it, we will let y'all know. The moment. However, as of right now, with hundreds of contacts inside of the Guard, repeat, hundreds of contacts inside of the Guard, they're not being issued weapons and ammunition. Many continue to note unusual military activity in the air and around bases, as is to be expected, due to canceled drills, trainings, deployments, etc. Medical. Colorado's governor sent a letter to Vice President Pence requesting additional supplies due to the severe shortage of ventilators and PPE. I feel like one of the many things that's going to come out of this COVID-19 thing is that the whole world is going to understand what PPE is. Back in the day, when you were in the construction industry, you'd be like, hey bro, you need your PPE. And the layman would look at you and be like, the what? Prepare? No, personal protective equipment. Now everybody knows what that is. Thanks for ruining my acronym, COVID. Remember, the reported number of positive tests is likely far lower than the current reality for several reasons. And we got a toddler. Only a minority of cases are tested at all, and there is a delay between administering the test and getting the results to the public. As we've discussed previously, it takes up to 14 days for those results to become available. So the numbers that we're seeing today, the 250,000 cases that we're seeing today in the United States are really the numbers from up to or approximately 2 weeks ago. There's a toddler with a broom about to take a nosedive off the deck. Good news, it's only 4 foot off the ground, and toddlers are made of rubber, so she'll probably survive. Hey, please don't do that with that broom, okay? Thank you. New York City EMS has enacted temporary cardiac arrest standards for disaster response. No adult non-traumatic or blunt traumatic cardiac arrest will be transported to a hospital. And there's a lot of technicality here. I've posted pics of this at Patreon. I'll give you the overall translation. EMS will attempt to help cardiac arrest patients on scene, but they are not taking bodies. They're not transporting bodies. They're moving bodies of those who die while under care of EMS to the NYPD. Under the heading of societal and general, 900 workers at the JBS USA meat processing plant in Greeley, Colorado, called off work Monday as a handful of cases of the novel coronavirus were confirmed among the employees. Nice, at a meat processing plant. That's awesome. There have been reports both nationally and abroad that nurses are being assaulted by the public in this country. By the public, period. In this country, one nurse was shot at in Oklahoma City while getting gas before work. Reportedly, another had her nose broken, and another in El Reno was sprayed in the face with Lysol. These reports mirror what we have seen reported overseas. Per a bulletin submitted to Bear Independent, Edmond OUMC employees are now required to wear civilian clothes to and from work and change on site. I don't know why this is. I don't know why people feel the need to take their aggression, angst, whatever, out against nurses, of all people, who are doing the best they can to save your ass from this thing. But the world is a sick and twisted place. We have pics of the text messages back and forth between the one nurse that was shot at up at the Patreon page. First responders and medical staff that test positive and or show symptoms have to self-quarantine in many places. It has been reported that this has reduced the number of critical responders substantially in some areas. This is one of those things where it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't send them home, you're going to potentially infect many, many more people, dozens, hundreds of more people. If you do send them home, you've lost their skilled capability. What do? I honestly think you send them home. Especially if you're getting back to the whole flatten the curve thing, I think you send them home. You remove them from the situation, as much as that sucks, at least until we're sure, or mostly sure, as best we can be sure, that they are not actually sick and or infected. Chapstick for the wind. The wind. I've been a little windblown today. We'll get to what we've been doing today here in a moment. Rationing is occurring in stores across the country. It is occurring regardless of official restrictions. Nevada, which is under official orders, and Arkansas, which has no official orders, are both experiencing store rationing of meat, bread, water, diapers, and toilet paper. Repeating, many in the Midwest have now noted increased and or overwhelming numbers of license plates from hard-hit areas. Some people have traveled hundreds of miles specifically to wipe out stores. Others are leaving to escape the virus and or the quarantine, but often fall ill after bugging out, spreading disease at gas stations and other stops along the way. Checkpoints, roadblocks are beginning in various areas, including in Rhode Island and select areas of New Jersey, as well as native tribe lands. I want to take this time to remind you about adventurefrontier.com. A lot of y'all have been messaging me and emailing me and blah, blah, blah. There's a big push for body armor right now. You can get Spartan armor at adventurefrontier.com. Please go check them out. Right now, the majority of what's in their web store is trauma gear and body armor. And so they have trauma gear, including our Bearfax, which are legitimately the best kits you can buy, and they cost a damn sight less than this stuff that comes from like Dark Angel Medical, which makes great kits, but they're going to charge you $100 more for their kit than what you get for a Bearfax, which is made in America, guaranteed forever. North American Rescue Components, and found at adventurefrontier.com. So you can check that out. You can get Spartan body armor there as well. Some of my armor is Spartan armor. Some of mine is level 4, paid for by taxpayers. So, whatever. If you need some body armor, you can check out adventurefrontier.com. You can get Bearfax from adventurefrontier.com, or you can get Bearfax and Bare Minimums at our web store at bearindependent.com as well. Just so we're tracking, the Bearfax is a fairly large kit. I run the Bearfax on my rucksack or as a vehicle kit, and we sell a lot of Bearfax for vehicle kits and for PDs, police departments, sheriff's departments, so forth and so on, for their vehicle. And then we sell a lot of Bare Minimums for gun belts, plate carriers, war belts, chest rigs, whatever, both for the civilian market, the military market, law enforcement market, even tactical firefighters. Certain fire departments have TAC teams. EMS, same thing, having a blowout kit on your person. We sell a lot of those kits, usually in red, for firefighters and EMS, and then police tends to be black or gray. Sheriff's departments tend to take coyote. Then the civilian market likes like OD green and coyote tan and multicam. And we did just get in some Marpat. I had some Marines go, bro, get some Marpat. So we got some Marpat. We're gonna give the Marpat a shot. It's not available yet, but if you want some Marpat, email me, November Tango X-Ray, Mike Alpha Golf at Gmail, and I'll see if I can hook you up with the first Marpat kits. But anyway, you can get these kits at adventurefrontier.com or at bearindependent.com. I run the bare minimum kit on my belt, war belt, and I run the bare FAC as a motor vehicle kit. And the only people, I know of a couple people that run the bare FAC on their war belt, and Air Force PJs carry the bare FAC on their load-bearing equipment, lower left, I believe. So that's cool. We got a bunch of testimony from them. They're like, dude, this kit's way better than what we're issued. How do we get some? And I'm like, bro, holler at me. We'll hook you up. So, yeah, PJs are the special forces that rescue special forces when the S hits the fan for special forces. So I thought that was a pretty cool feather in our cap there. But anyway, check out adventurefrontier.com. We're going to plow our single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. Again, the entirety of this report is available on Patreon. Y'all need to look into the Earn It Act. This could be a disaster for free speech and security on the internet. I've begun my research on the Earn It Act. I don't have an opinion yet, but it's been brought to our attention. There have been reports of DHS and or court troubles with child custody, as medical workers are sometimes deemed a danger to the children. In Ohio, 14-day quarantine is now in effect for anyone coming into the state. Stay-at-home orders have been extended to 1 May. State Attorney General is sending cease and desist orders to non-essential businesses, for example, Hobby Lobby, that have either remained open or have reopened. In Maine, shelves continue to thin. Starting today, face shields on registers, mandatory 6-foot rule, one-way aisles with only one person allowed per aisle, and limit on the number of people inside the store. If limit is reached, remaining customers must wait in 6-foot increments outside. In Missouri, the National Guard is making plans for temporary hospitals, and large hospitals in St. Louis are ordering refrigeration trailers for potential overflow of bodies. After Mississippi governors signed the official orders for statewide shelter in place, there was another run on stores. In Washington, Governor, slow down, Bear, copy that, I'm tracking. Woosah. Woosah. In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee may be contemplating a citizen tracking app for all in Washington and or ankle bracelets for those who have been sick. That sounds like a tyrannical a-hole. Between Chicago and South Bend, police presence has doubled in some areas but is non-existent in others. The 2 National Guard bases passed by this contributor every week have double to triple the amount of personnel and armor. Grocery stores and gun stores are just about cleaned out. In Montana, one viewer's co-worker and her mother knowingly went to a gathering where people were known to be showing symptoms, then went to work at 2 pharmacies. Both later became symptomatic themselves. Quote from the contributor, "There are too few tests to get a real number on infections." Agreed, this is something we've been talking about for a while. International. The Australian Prime Minister has announced that the government has pledged $1.6 billion to ensure child care facilities remain open, provided they do not charge parents. The Indian government has launched a coronavirus tracker app that alerts people if they have crossed paths with someone infected with the virus. The app uses location data and Bluetooth to check where infected people are and to alert users in their vicinity. Similar technology has been used in China. Actionable. Morristown, New Jersey, ER is asking for baby monitor donations so they can keep an ear out for ventilator alarms. Contact your representatives to protect gun stores from closures. Be aware of the huge influx of scams, Netflix account issues, fake coronavirus testing, stimulus payment-related scams, fake apply now and claim yours texts with links and similar things. As stated yesterday, the government is not going to text you to give you money. They don't do that. They're not good at that. They're not terribly good at giving people money, period. Although I guess it depends on who you are. They're not very good at giving me money. They're really good at taking it. But that's a whole nother story for another time. Support your medical care workers. They are bearing the brunt of this and could really use your encouragement. In some areas, there have been reports of police impersonators pulling people over and asking for travel papers. One woman was followed home. Note, there are some places now where real officers are legitimately pulling people over to ask where they're going. Know what's going on in your area and stay prepared, safe, and cautious. Good job, Dance Monkey. That's a good note. And as stated previously, have good commo. Tell people, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to do this thing. If something happens, call them. Put the situation on speakerphone so that you have a third party aware of what's going on. And, you know, hell, in New Jersey, I'd be a felon just because, well, for example, that holds more than 10 rounds, so I guess I'm a felon now. But if you can have a weapon on you, have a weapon on you. Not that you need to be presenting a weapon to a legitimate officer of the peace, but if you're dealing with an illegitimate officer of the peace, just saying, hollow points cure a lot of problems. Hashtag robust compost pile. Silver linings, my favorite part of the show. A local community in Texas had a howl in last night in support of social distancing. A police officer hit his siren in his driveway, causing dogs to howl. Children playing outside then started to howl along. Then the adults started. Ultimately, the whole neighborhood got involved. Plans are to repeat this tonight and for the foreseeable future. It's awesome. Life with family is good. Bonding, gardening, and raising children. Those who are unable to be with family right now due to risk are trying to help and be as supportive as they can. Because the bars and restaurants have been ordered to shut down, there are huge quantities of food that are being donated to regional food banks and their partners. The Alsea Valley Gleaners in Alsea, Oregon, just took a pallet of mashed potatoes and a pallet of romaine lettuce from Applebee's. That's awesome. Gleaners is an awesome charity as well. Y'all should look up Gleaners, Gleaners, Gleaners. Tremendous. I just got a pop-up on my live stream from YouTube. Search faster on TV with voice. Please use your voice for faster, easier searching. Search or dismiss. How about we're going to dismiss? Dismiss. Thanks, YouTube. You're the best. Maybe now just go jump in a deep hole, YouTube. One person has personally observed more neighbors conversing together, someone donating masks and gloves to local test sites, and more people sporting bulges on their waistline. In South Carolina, a car was parked with a writing that said, "Thank you, truck drivers," on the windshield. Mary Alice was making fresh sandwiches and handing out lunch bags with a kind message written on the front. Quote, "Just in case nobody told you that you are valuable today, you are. Thank you so much for each and every mile that you drive. Jesus and Auntie May love you." That's awesome. We got pics of that on Patreon. Good job, Auntie May. Good job. And by the way, I like the fact that apparently there is somewhere somebody named Auntie May who follows this channel. That's awesome. I hope I've not offended you too deeply with the brash bareness that I have going on. You rock, Auntie May. More churches are now moving to computer-driven services. Praise the Father. Harbor Freight is donating its entire supply of PPE to ERs across the country. 44 million nitrile gloves and hundreds of thousands of face masks. Indiana's governor has suspended all Planned Parenthood operations. If it was planned, you wouldn't need a damn abortion. Praise the Father. Proverbs 6, the shedding of innocent blood is an abomination to the Most High. Praise the Father. Retail groceries like Walmart, Kroger, Target, and some fast food chains like Burger King and McDonald's are now paying an extra $2 per hour to all active workers. Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, Texas, gave and delivered over 1,000 boxes of free food at their own cost, $50,000 worth. They're doing it again this week. The church is also giving out free lunches and dinners for the next 2 weeks at no charge to anyone who can make it to the Cornerstone Christian School. Praise the Father. That's awesome. As a brief note, Grindstone Ministries are 501c3. We're still looking for an attorney and for a grant writer. We've gotten a lot of great correspondence from y'all. I've kicked that to Renee, who's our badass virtual assistant with that stuff. She's working on making contact with y'all and arranging conversations, but we have not at this point partnered with anybody for either an attorney or a grant writer. So if you know anybody who's an attorney or a grant writer, please email me, November Tango X-Ray, Mike Alpha Golf, NTXMAG @gmail.com, and I will forward to Renee. If you're unfamiliar with Grindstone, you can go to grindstoneministries.com. It's our charitable organization. We seek to serve the Father's kingdom, to be the hands and feet of our Messiah. Our ongoing project right now is the Bethany House, which exists to serve as an intake facility for the Demand Project. And the Demand Project works with victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. Average victim is between 8 and 12 years old. Average victim has been raped approximately 30 times, although some of these kids, which are generally 2/3 female, 1/3 male, have been raped hundreds of times, serial raped and trafficked. It's the #1 growing crime in the world because the cartel can sell a bag of heroin one time, but they can sell a 5-year-old 10 times a day, every day, for the next 10 to 20 years. And it's effing disgusting. And so the demandproject.org, people you should check out, work on the law enforcement side of jamming up these perverts, the average of which has 1.4 million images of child pornography on their computer. One recent one had 1,200 videos of 200 individuals ranging from 0 to 2 years old that he had serial raped on his phone. I don't know why we don't just kill these people, but I'm not in charge of this. So the Demand Project works with law enforcement to arrest these folks and put them away forever, and then to rehabilitate their victims. And so Grindstone is not good at law enforcement. Grindstone is not good at rehabilitation and restoration. Grindstone is good at construction. That's what we're good at. And so we partner with people like the Demand Project because they suck at construction. But they don't have to be good at construction. Their gifting, their talent, their ordination is rebuilding people's lives that have been destroyed by this and arresting perverts and getting them off the street. But they're terrible at construction. And that's okay because we love them anyway. Because we're not good at what they do, but we're damn good at construction. And so I'd recommend you check out grindstoneministries.com and the demandproject.org. What we do matters. What they do matters. And it's the blessing of a lifetime to be able to lead a bunch of badasses on behalf of the Father's kingdom to win victories for him, and to help people who know how to fix people who have been deeply and terribly abused, treated like product, told that the only worth that they have is their physicality, and introduce them to their Messiah in the process, it's a win-win. So yeah, that's what Grindstone does. And I'm honored and humbled by all the people who have partnered with us at Grindstone. And so I got to be careful not to go too far down that rabbit hole, because I could sit here and pontificate for the next 3 hours on how terrible that is. And it makes me mad. It disgusts me, and I just want to kill things when I think about it too much. Yeah, $154 billion per year industry, and there's only 400 beds in the United States to treat those victims. Bethany House will add another 60 beds to that, and that's our ongoing project right now. So check out grindstoneministries.com. Check out thedemandproject.org, please and thank you. Again, y'all are killing it at the web store. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. We're still shipping IFACs. We've got more patches coming. We've got thumb drives. T-shirts are still being sent out by Teespring. We've got stickers, including the new Steven sticker. We've got scriptures are coming. Well, now YouTube knows. It wasn't Patreon only. Now y'all know. Well, Paula Joe announced it the other night on a live stream, so I guess we're good now. Good job, PJD. Scriptures are coming. Just ordered 120 scriptures. They've shipped. We don't have them yet, but you can get scriptures at cost, our cost, on the website. We don't make a dime on it. And that's all at the web store. So bless y'all, bless y'all, bless y'all. Thank you. Again, as I've said, unashamedly, there are 9 households eating off of Bear Independent in some capacity right now. So this matters, and I'm honored and humbled and thankful that y'all would let us into your life each day, and that you would consider patronizing us, and that you would support us in any capacity, especially during this time. It means the world to me. So thank you. Thank you. What did we do today? I fed animals. We had an awesome brother and sister come over with a Kubota tractor with a tiller on the back of it. And we tilled one area at one neighbor's house that was approximately 18,000 square feet. And then another neighbor's house that was about 2,000 square feet, for a total of approximately 20,000 square feet. I haven't taken any hard measurements, but that's what we're looking at. It's at least a half an acre of land. It may be well more than that, but we're getting serious about producing our own food. We ran fence and hung 2 gates in between us and another neighbor. I shot a Patreon video on all of this and uploaded that. Ordered guts and pouches for IFACs. The kids played and watched Despicable Me 3, I believe. We talked with our neighbors, hung out with our friends. Brother Oki came over and worked on the ham contraption a little bit more. We picked up a good used deep freezer from another neighbor. And it was very COVID-19 friendly. They set it outside for a few days, and we didn't touch them and they didn't touch us, and there was none of that. Just set it in the back of a pickup truck. We did have a wonderful conversation from a socially responsible distance apart from one another. My wife made grape jelly and grape muscadine and blackberry fruit leather. And now we're doing this. I haven't even had dinner yet. And Oki brought me a growler of Royal Bavaria wheat beer. And it's freaking tremendous. And that's what we did today. Now we're gonna pray. And you brewed some muscadine wine as well? Damn, girl. Damn, girl. I love you, girl. Are we gonna do a Patreon live stream tonight? Yeah, it's a Thursday. We usually do every other Thursday, but we've been hitting every Thursday during the quarantine. So yeah, we're gonna pray here, and then we're gonna take a quick pause, and then we're gonna head over to Patreon and do a Patreon exclusive hangout. So let's pray. Father Yah, thank you for today. Thank you for an opportunity to walk with you. Thank you for speaking to me through agriculture. Father, thank you for being sovereign over all things, for making it clear that you reap what you sow, for just hammering me over and over and over again with your word, Father. I pray that you'd be indwelt in us. I pray that you would fill us up. I pray that you would make yourself manifested in all of this, Father, and that you would just continue to remind us who it is that drives the bus. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua. I pray that you'd bless everybody within the sound of my voice. I pray that you just, as things just get crazier and crazier and crazier, that you would show up more and more and more in our lives. That we would seek you more and more earnestly, that we would grow to have a deeper and more meaningful relationship with you, and that this would be an opportunity to create testimony. Father, give us your words, not our words. Let us do your things, not our things. And Father, guide us in all of this. In Yeshua's name, amen. Bless y'all. Shalom.